She used to fall asleep holding my hand. That was our thing. I'd wake up sometimes with my arm numb, but I wouldn't move it. I didn't want to break the moment. That silence, that warmth, it felt like proof that I'd finally found someone who saw me, needed me. But tonight, I was the one awake, sitting at the edge of the bed, staring at her phone screen. It wasn't locked. I don't know why she forgot. She never forgets. But there it was, open, bright, buzzing again. One name, again and again. Eli. The preview on the lock screen said everything. I wish he touched me like you do. A heart emoji. Midnight timestamp. She was asleep next to me, barely breathing, one arm over the covers, my hand nowhere near hers, and I didn't even flinch, just watched the screen fade to black again. The room went quiet, but inside me something loud cracked open. The worst part? I didn't even feel shocked. I felt confirmed. All the pieces that hadn't made sense, her mood swings, the distance, the way she held her phone like it had secrets, now they snapped into place. And that one message, sitting there glowing in the dark, felt like the final puzzle piece I never asked for. I should have thrown the phone. I should have woken her up, demanded answers, done something. But I didn't. I just sat there, watched her chest rise and fall, and I realized I'd been sleeping next to a stranger for months, maybe longer. She stirred a little, rolled to her side, facing away from me. The hand that used to reach for mine now clutched the edge of the blanket. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I couldn't, but because everything I thought was real just evaporated. Like steam from a coffee cup you forgot you were holding. And in that stillness, one thought kept echoing. This isn't the first time she's texted him like that. We met at the airport, delayed flight, same gate. I was sitting on the floor, charging my phone, and she walked by holding 2 granola bars, stopped, looked down at me and said, "You look like you haven't eaten in a week." Then just handed me one, no hesitation. That was her way. She had this mix of chaos and calm, like she could walk into a room and make everyone feel like they'd known her for years. We ended up sitting next to each other on the flight, and by the time we landed, I had her number and a story I'd already told 3 people. First date, she wore an oversized denim jacket and ordered pancakes for dinner. Said she liked soft food on stressful days. I remember laughing so hard I forgot I was nervous. She made me feel like I wasn't trying too hard, like I didn't have to perform. By the 3rd date, she had my coffee order memorized: black, splash of oat milk, no sugar. She said it made me look like I had a dark past, but she was joking. At least I thought she was. By the 3rd month, she had a drawer at my place. Then it became a shelf, then half the closet. And somewhere along the line, it stopped feeling like mine and started feeling like ours. She'd text me little things throughout the day, a song lyric, a meme, sometimes just, "Hey, I miss you." We had inside jokes, secret names, that shared playlist on Spotify titled Us, obviously. I still haven't deleted it. She used to fall asleep holding my hand. Every night. Sometimes she'd mumble in her sleep things like, "Don't forget the bananas," or, "Did you lock the back door?" And I'd laugh quietly, squeeze her hand back and whisper, "I got it." She called me her safe place. Said she never really had that before. That with me, she could finally exhale. I took that seriously. I built a routine around her, left work early to cook dinner, brought her tea when she had cramps, held her during panic attacks that came out of nowhere, and left just as fast. And when she'd fall asleep, especially those nights, she looked worn down by the world. I'd just lay there, watching her breathe, thinking, God, I hope she stays. I hope I never mess this up. Funny how I thought I'd be the one who'd break it. The night I gave her a key to my place, she cried. Said no one had ever trusted her like that. I believed her, every damn word. Things started shifting after she got the new job. Marketing firm, downtown. One of those glassy buildings with plants hanging from the ceiling and cold brew on tap. She was excited, called it a dream position. Said she'd finally be around people who got her energy. At first, I was just proud of her. She was working late, but she texted me sweet things like, "I wish you were here," or "Tonight's dumb without you." And I believed her. I wanted to believe her. But then, the tone of everything started thinning. Her replies got shorter. "K. Maybe. Too tired." The emojis disappeared. She stopped calling on her lunch break. Then came the happy hours. Every other day, it seemed. Team building, she'd say. Just one drink. She'd come home smelling like gin and citrus, that same musky cologne on her scarf. One night, I hugged her, and I said, "You smell different." She pulled away a little too fast. "It's probably from the office. Relax." She started sleeping, facing the other direction. I noticed. No more hand-holding, no more sleep talk, just her back and the edge of the comforter she'd wrap around herself like armor. I'd reach out sometimes, just to rest my hand on her hip, and she'd mumble, "I'm too hot," and roll further away. The distance became physical before it became emotional, but once it was emotional, it spread fast. I remember asking her about this guy Eli who kept tagging her in group photos online. Always with drinks, always standing too close. She laughed. "You're being weird," she said. "He's married." I nodded. But something about the way she answered, too quick, too practiced, made my stomach clench. I told myself not to spiral, not to let old insecurities creep in. But it wasn't insecurity. It was instinct. I started noticing little things. Her screen brightness turned way down. She'd bring her phone into the bathroom now. She changed her lock screen from a picture of us to some abstract painting. One night, she got a call at midnight. I saw the screen flash once, before she declined it. She said it was a spam number, but she wouldn't meet my eyes when she said it. She just got back in bed and faced the wall. And maybe I was being paranoid. Maybe I was seeing ghosts and shadows. But deep down, I knew. The woman who once danced in my kitchen while brushing her teeth now wouldn't even let me see the notifications on her phone. And the worst part? She was still kind, still polite, still kissed me on the cheek. And that made it harder, because you don't expect betrayal to look like manners. You expect it to be cold, obvious. But this was warm, familiar, and still completely empty. It was a Tuesday night. She came home late, again. Said something about a client dinner that ran long. She kicked off her shoes at the door and dropped her purse on the couch. That part wasn't unusual. What was unusual was that she left her phone charging, face up, unlocked. I stared at it for a while, not touching it, just staring. She was in the shower. Steam drifted from the bathroom, soft music playing off her Spotify, the same playlist we made together. Us, obviously. And her phone buzzed again. Eli. The message popped up on the screen. "Missed you today. I hate that I have to pretend." Then another one. "Next week? Our spot?" I picked it up. I don't remember choosing to. I just remember it was suddenly in my hand, my thumb hovering, and then scrolling. Slowly, carefully. The texts were long, intimate, not just flirty emotional, like a relationship built in the shadows. One line still plays in my head. "Sometimes I wake up thinking it's you next to me, and then I remember where I am." There were photos. A picture of her hand holding his on what looked like a restaurant table. His hoodie on her, half zipped, the caption, "Your smell makes me feel like me." Voice notes. I didn't play them. I couldn't. I knew if I heard her voice, that same voice that once whispered, "I love you," while falling asleep on my chest, I'd lose it. And I needed to stay still. There were even saved drafts in her notes app, like letters. Unsent. Probably meant for him. I don't know how to say goodbye to someone who hasn't done anything wrong. I hate that I'm lying to someone who'd give me the world. I wish he was colder. It would make this easier. She meant me. And there it was in her own words. Quiet confessions never meant for my eyes. Grief disguised as poetry. Guilt tucked into half-thoughts. She never planned to tell me. She was going to keep both lives running until one fell apart. Until one of us let go. and I realized then she was waiting for me to give up so she wouldn't have to look like the bad guy. I put the phone down, right where I found it. The water shut off. She stepped out minutes later, towel in her hair, face flushed from the heat. She smiled at me, like nothing was different, like I hadn't just read the part of her life I was never supposed to see. "Hey," she said, "you good?" And I nodded, because in that moment, I understood something I'd never wanted to. I wasn't a partner anymore. I was the cover story. I didn't confront her. Not that night. Not the next day. Not even the next week. I started moving differently. Slower, quieter, more deliberate. Like someone walking through a room full of broken glass barefoot. Careful not to bleed until I had to. I smiled less. Stopped reaching for her hand at night. Didn't cook dinner as much. Just enough changes to create space. Space I could think in. Space I could breathe in. I started paying attention, not just to her, but to myself. I noticed how often I said, "It's fine," when it wasn't. How often I told myself, "You can fix this. She's just confused. She'll come back to you." But she wasn't lost. She had directions. She just wasn't headed my way anymore. I started documenting. I took screenshots. I recorded my screen. I backed everything up to a separate folder on my laptop hidden behind fake files, password protected. Not because I wanted to use it, but because I didn't want to gaslight myself later. When she tried to twist the story, I looked up Eli. He wasn't married. He was recently out of a relationship, a long, messy one, from what I could find on his social media. He posted quotes about growth and real love requiring risk. They weren't even subtle. She'd commented on a few, just emojis, but they said enough. I went to a lawyer, nothing dramatic, just a consultation. We weren't married, but she was on the lease. I wanted to know my options, what I could do quietly, legally, cleanly. I signed paperwork for a new apartment across town, smaller, simpler, with more light. I bought boxes, started packing the things that were only mine, books she never read, clothes she never touched, memories she never asked about. And then I did something stupid. I bought her favorite wine, a deep red, Chilean. She used to say it made her feel like a painting. I bought it because I knew she'd relax when she saw it. I wanted her calm, off guard. I didn't want to fight. I just wanted out. I set the table, lit candles, played the jazz playlist she made me for our first anniversary, the one she hadn't added to in months. She came home late, again, hair tousled, lips glossed, smile already forming as she smelled the wine. She kissed my cheek, sat down like it was just another Tuesday. I poured her a glass. We clinked. She sipped, said, "God, I needed this." I nodded, just watched her. She asked, "What's the occasion?" I slid the envelope across the table, thick, heavy, full of everything she never meant me to see. She looked down at it, didn't touch it right away. Her fingers hovered, then slowly pulled it close. She opened it, flipped through the pages. Silence. No denial, no gasping, just a quiet exhale like someone watching a storm they'd been pretending wouldn't hit. I said one thing, "I know. I've known." That was it. She stared at the papers, then at me, waiting, bracing, like I'd yell, cry, beg. But he didn't. I just stood, picked up my keys, walked to the door. Before I left, I turned back and said, "The rent's paid through the month. You've got time." She opened her mouth like she wanted to speak, to fix it, maybe, but the words didn't come. I closed the door. I didn't slam it. Didn't text her after. Didn't look back. The next morning she tried her key. I know because I heard it, the soft metal scrape, the jolt of resistance, the quiet click that never came. She knocked once, then again, then just stood there. I didn't open the door. This wasn't about drama. It wasn't about punishment. It was about clarity. She texted, "Can we talk? Please." You didn't even give me a chance to explain. But she did explain. In every message she sent him, in every voice note I didn't listen to, in every lie disguised as routine. And I'd heard enough. I spent that day in the new apartment. It smelled like paint and carpet glue. Nothing had memories yet. I liked that. I needed that. I opened all the windows, played a podcast I wasn't listening to, drank the same black coffee she used to make fun of. I called my landlord and had the utilities switched over. Updated my mailing address, texted my mom, told her I moved. I didn't tell her why. She would have asked questions I wasn't ready to answer out loud. That weekend, I changed my number, left the old one active for a few more days, just to see what she'd do. She sent 24 messages. Most were guilt. Some were panic. You're blowing this out of proportion. He was just someone I talked to. That's all. I didn't sleep with him. You have to believe me. Funny how the boundaries suddenly mattered when she realized I wasn't going to fight for her. She even sent a photo of us from a trip upstate, said, "Don't you miss this?" I stared at it for a long time. She was smiling in the picture, wind in her hair, my arms around her. But now, all I could see was that her eyes had been somewhere else. I wiped the phone, permanently deleted everything, factory reset, dropped it in a drawer, gone. I didn't tell our friends, didn't post anything, didn't leave a trail. Let her shape the story however she needed to. Let her tell people I ghosted, that I ran, that I was too sensitive. It didn't matter, because I wasn't trying to win anymore. I was done playing a game I didn't know I was in. And the beauty of quiet revenge is, there's no moment she can point to, no blow-up, no name-calling, just absence. And absence is louder than anything I could have screamed. She called 3 times that week. Blocked numbers. Unknown. I stopped answering unknowns altogether. She emailed long messages at 3 a.m. Paragraphs filled with what she should have said, what she didn't mean, how things got blurry. She didn't sign them with her name, just initials. Like that somehow made them softer. She even tried mailing a handwritten letter. I didn't open it. It's still in the drawer, unread, torn a little at the edge from where I picked it up, then put it back down. She showed up once, outside my building, hood up, eyes red, holding a tote bag I gave her on her birthday, the one with the tiny stitched fox on the corner. She didn't buzz. She just waited, stood there like a kid in the rain, except it wasn't raining, just gray, still. I watched her from the upstairs window. She paced, sat on the steps, checked her phone, waited. After 30 minutes, she left. I didn't move. I didn't blink. I didn't want her to see me flinch. She posted on Instagram a few days later, a blurry sunset photo with some quote about growing alone. Eli liked it. A few mutuals commented hearts. East kept scrawling. I never told anyone the full story, not even my best friend. Not because I'm ashamed, but because I wanted to keep this clean, unshared, untouched. There's something sacred in not letting the world touch your pain, in knowing you walked through hell and didn't ask for applause. She started dating someone new a few months later. Not Ely, someone else, someone safer. I saw the photo, her hand on his chest, that same fake candid smile she used to save for me, and I felt nothing. Not rage, not sadness, just quiet. Like when you turn off a machine that's been humming in the background for hours and suddenly realize how loud it was. That was her. Constant noise I forgot was there. And now, silence. Now, I sleep alone. I keep my phone face down. Not out of fear, just peace. No buzzing, no flashing names I don't recognize. Just stillness. My apartment's smaller. 1 bedroom. No shared closets, no forgotten toothbrushes in the drawer, no scented lotion by the sink that doesn't belong to me. And yet, it feels bigger. I cook dinner in silence now, not because I'm lonely, but because the quiet doesn't bother me anymore. I go on walks in the evening, same route every night, past the bookstore she never went into, past the cafe where I used to wait for her to finish just one more email. Sometimes I pass couples. Sometimes they're laughing, holding hands, looking at each other like they haven't learned yet how fast forever can end. I don't envy them. There's something calm about knowing exactly where you stand, even if that place is alone. People always talk about closure like it's a door you get to slam shut, but I think it's more like learning to stop knocking, letting the door be closed, letting the silence be enough. Because the truth is, some people don't deserve your anger. They don't even deserve your words, just your absence. And if you're lucky, one day you'll realize she didn't break you. She revealed herself, and that's all you needed to walk away. This is Cheating Confessions. If you've ever been betrayed by the one you trusted most, hit subscribe. You're not alone.